All right, now let's build your skills by actually doing this stuff. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be setting up a carousel Instagram ad in Creative Hub. And so you're going to be learning a lot of these new features, including Creative Hub and things like that. So to start with, we're actually going to be moving away from the Ads Manager, and let's go over here. We're going to go to All Tools. Under Plan, let's go to Creative Hub, and we're going to be creating a mockup in the Instagram carousel format. So we're going to go to Create Mockup here, and you can follow along with me in the study guide step by step so that you can build your skills. And so let's go here. We're in the carousel for Instagram option. So we're going to select our Instagram profile. There we go. All right. So we're going to start with the text, and so we want to highlight the reward in the text that the user, the person who's receiving your ad, might get. That's a great way to use text. So we're going to be using the following couple of sentences here. All right, so you can read what we are going to be using as our text here. Reward yourself with artisan coffee and a tasty treat for under $6. Come into Gaslight Coffee and start your Saturday morning off right. Wow, we're going to say Saturday morning. Well, that's going to build your skills here in a second on scheduling the deployment of your ads, which can be really effective because you can imagine if you can make sure that a certain message is going to be delivered at a certain time, that can be really powerful. So now let's add in images and the additional text that we need to use. And you're going to note that the images tagged Gaslight in the practice folder, which is the link that you're going to see here on the screen. Those are the images that you can use so that you can just practice this stuff without having to create all these images yourself. So you're going to be uploading the images in the practice folder, but I'm going to actually just add them because these are images that I have already uploaded. So I added that image. Now I'm going to click on this number 2. I'm going to select another image, and then number 3, and I'm going to select another image. All right, now you're going to see if you click here to the right, you're going to see your images appear just like it's going to appear in the Instagram feed. So now we need headlines for each of these, and in the study guide, you can find the headlines that we are going to be using so that you can follow along, and you can just go ahead and put these in yourself and build your intuition. All right, so you're going to notice here that for each of these different options, so for example, the coffee, this is going to be the same headline as the one that's up here, but that's okay because you're going to see that this is only a carousel for Instagram, and so it's only going to display one of these. It's not going to display a headline in addition to this text. And if you look at, as we go over to number 2, the donut, and you go right here, you're going to see that this is a little bit different. The text here, it highlights the donut, and then if you click here, you're going to see that this text here around the cinnamon roll, so this is going to appear underneath the cinnamon roll. So then now let's just make the URL on each of these cards gaslightcoffeeroasters.com, and then let's build your skills with calls to action. So let's change this to C menu. All right, so now let's save this. Oop, I forgot to put in the see more URL. Let's put that in there. All right. So now let's save it. And now I'm going to edit this name up here, and then let's call it Saturday Morning Insta Special. Great, our mockup has been successfully saved. I hope you're following along with me. So now let's import this. We're going to agree, and then we want to copy this URL. All right, great. All right, now let's keep building your skills, and we're going to be using something that you learned in a previous section here. We're going to create a lookalike audience from a custom audience. So we're going to go to the menu, assets, and then we're going to go to audiences, and then we're going to create a new audience here. And then let's create a lookalike audience, and then we're going to create this from the top 25 most engaged audience, and then let's set this in the United States. And we're going to set this really big at 10 because we want this to be the most people possible, and I'll show you why next. So we'll create this audience. I've already created this somewhere else, but let's go ahead and create it. So now let's open a new tab. See, it says I've already created it. So we're going to close this one. I'm going to open a new tab, and I've still got my URL copied from my mockup, and it's going to be something short like that. Paste it into the browser. All right, so let's select the right ad account. We'll use Easel's ad account, and then we'll click import. Open Ads Manager. All right, so let's change the campaign type to reach, and then we're going to name it, and you can follow along in the study guide here, but we're going to name it. All right, so we're going to name it Gaslight Saturday Morning Insta Special. The ad set's going to be called Top Engaged Lookalikes in Logan Square, and this is why we made our lookalike so big, and I'll show you that here in a second. And then it's going to go ahead and have the mock-up there. Then we're going to name it for our ad set Saturday Morning Insta Special. And then let's save it to a draft. All right, now let's go and click on this one ad set here in the upper right hand corner. We're going to select a lifetime budget, which is going to be really important for us. And we'll set it at $250. And then let's set the end date as March 31st, 2019. And you can set this to whatever you want just to build your skills here. The most important thing here is we're going to run the ads on a schedule. And this is super important because we don't want people to receive our ads about Saturday morning on a Tuesday afternoon. So let's go ahead and start calibrating when we want to do this. And so here's the challenge for you. How are you going to set this to Saturdays from 6 a.m. to noon? Well, I used to just click like this, but that's really slow. I'll show you an easier way. You just drag right through to noon, which is right there. And then if you look down at our audiences, there's our lookalike. 10% of the top 25 most engaged people, 21 million possible people. All right, so then I know you're not going to have this in your audiences that are saved, but watch me and try to replicate it if you have any way to do that, if you're already collecting pixel data. And then so what we're going to do here is now we want to remove United States as the location, and instead we want to only have this go to people who are in Logan Square in Chicago near Gaslight Coffee Roasters, because we don't want people in Minnesota receiving ads for a coffee shop in Chicago. So what we're going to do here is you're going to learn another skill, which is to add locations in bulk. So let's go ahead and click this option here, and then we're going to say post codes. And again, all this is in the study guide for you, so you don't have to do all this manually. Okay, so there are our post codes. Let's say match locations. Yep, those look right, so let's add them. And then we're going to go ahead and save this audience. So let's save it, and then we'll say something like, and then we're going to say something like Logan Square region engaged lookalikes. We'll save that audience, and we're not done quite yet. So we want to go to the editing placements, and we want to make sure that this only goes on Instagram. So under placements here, you can click edit placements, and then let's basically zoom out of all this stuff. No messenger. We only want this to be in the Instagram feed. All right, great. And you're going to see that this is showing that our audience is still potentially 140,000 people in those areas, and we can hit these people on Saturday morning as they're getting up and getting their day started with something that makes sense, like getting coffee and a donut, especially if you're in the United States and you get that stuff. People like sweet breakfasts. So then let's go over here to our ad, make sure everything is looking good. Yep, there's our ad. Pixel is on, we publish, and there's our ad.